Hi, YouTube. I know it has been quite some time since I've last been on here. It's been a while since I've done a live, but as many of you know now, there is a lot going on, um, mainly in part to the Black Lives Matter movement. It has kicked off and it is not slowing down, regardless of what you are seeing on the top major news outlets. People are still protesting. And that's great. People are still donating. People are still learning. People are still educating themselves on why this is so important. And having said that, there are still people that we as Black women, that we are ready to fight for, that still treat us like garbage. And I have been trying to post about this on my IG, and for whatever reason, I keep having technical issues. I don't know if it's really a technical issue or if IG is just not allowing what I want to say to go through. We're gonna push through it anyway. And I figure, well, since I can't seem to share my thoughts on IG, I will bring them over here because they are important. I just finished a quick video for another Black Lives Matter project, and it has me, I finally feel centered and not so angry at the fact that I even have to address what's going on. Recently in Florida, and if you've been following me for a minute, you know that's where I'm from. I was born and raised in Florida. It was a femicide. It was a homicide. It was femicide. A man in Tallahassee killed two Black women. This was a Black man in Tallahassee who killed two Black women. One was an up-and-coming activist for the movement. Another one was a volunteer for the movement. And it really... I mean, when I got this news a few days ago, you guys, I have never been so glad to have a day off from work, because I legit could not do anything else but play in my mind this loop of what happened to this woman. She was 19 years old. I'm not sure how old the other woman was, but this was a child. And a lot of news is coming to light about her family. And although my upbringing wasn't stellar, I felt myself like just drawn to her story because I could see so many things within her story that reminded me of my own upbringing. And as you know, bettering yourself, it's an ongoing process. So when I was confronted with those feelings and what happened to her, I felt so helpless and so paralyzed, because her life was cut short at the hands of someone that she was fighting for. And following that, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I haven't watched it. I'm not going to share it because it will just take me back to being in a very dark place right now. But apparently there's this video going around online, and there's a group of Black men, and there's a Black woman, and they threw her in a dumpster. They threw her in a live, filthy dumpster. That's what I've read in the comments, and I saw like a snapshot of it, and that was all I could stomach before I almost legit threw my phone across the room because I was so angry. And I had to remind myself that this is not my apartment, and if something happens in here, I have to pay for the damages. So I did a little yoga for a little bit, and I watched some Star Trek because I could not stomach this. Here we are in 2019, and this is where we are. Black women are literally leading this demonstration. We have been in this fight since we were captured and enslaved and brought here to build what is now called America. And those are facts. That's not even me trying to gas us up, nothing. Those are facts. And yes, as a whole, as an enslaved group of people, we were conditioned to behave a certain way. And I say all this because Black men, y'all have to do better. Y'all have to do better. I don't care how you grew up. Because guess what? My childhood wasn't all that great either. And I still wake up every day with the intent on spreading positivity and being a beacon of hope for someone else that isn't ready yet to do that. So y'all gonna have to do better. If y'all cannot participate in this fight to end systematic racism and to let go of the toxic behaviors that have been passed down to us from generation to generation, if you're not ready to look at yourself in the mirror and face that and acknowledge where you stand with that and how to better yourself with that, stay your asses home. Okay? The revolution will still be televised. You do not need to take part. We will deal with y'all when the time comes, because I'm sick of seeing it. And on top of that, this comes on the heels of a trans woman being beaten for a minor miscommunication. I don't know the exact details, so that's what I'm going to go with right there, because I don't know, because again, it was another video that I could not watch because I could not believe that Black men are out here wearing Black Lives Matters t-shirt. They are marching and protesting, and the nanosecond they get the opportunity, they treat us like trash. They continue to dog us out. They continue to abuse us. Do you have any idea how mentally exhausting it is to be going to the front lines to take on the world for men who treat you like trash? And I saw a post on Facebook asking how Black women feel about Black men. And I hate seeing that I'm not alone in my thoughts. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Because like I said, I've been trying to talk about this on Instagram, and I'm starting to think maybe there's a reason why I haven't been able to talk about this on Instagram, because I don't hold Black men in the highest esteem. I never really have. And I realize that the older I get, the less I do. And I know that is something that I have to work on. That is something that I need to internalize. I cannot continue to blame every Black man for things, all the atrocities that I see other Black men commit. But that is something that I grew up with. That is something, a part of my childhood, that I am still dissecting. I am still bit by bit chopping away at that. But if you are coming out to these protests and you know in your heart that you do not stand in solidarity with all Black women, not just Black women that you can benefit from, not just Black women that you find attractive, not just Black women who tolerate you and your shortcomings, but for all Black women. I mean fat Black women, trans Black women, disabled Black women, any Black woman that falls on the sexual spectrum, asexual, demisexual, what have you. Anyone who has, whether she has 0 kids or 6 kids, someone who does not have a higher education, or someone who does. I mean every possible Black woman there is right now. If you know that you cannot stand in solidarity with us, sit this one out, son. Sit it out, because you are not helping the cause. And it's funny because as I say that, I remember seeing a video not too long ago back home in the States. Again, I'm from Florida. So at the FMPD, that's the county police station where I grew up, there was a Black woman, and she was speaking. And this woman, she was pouring out her heart. And she was talking about how the system failed her and her child. And you can hear Black men in the background agitating. Like they were literally in the background saying all these mean, nasty, non-productive, just derogatory things. And white women who were allies in this protest, and other people around them were leading the pack to tell them, hey, stop, this is not cool. Like, cut this out. Do you know this woman was talking about how she lost her son, and she was still asking for everyone to peacefully protest because the protest was getting out of hand. And nobody would have fault her. Nobody would have blamed her if she just said, you know what? I washed my hands of it. I tried and walked away. And to hear Black men in the background of a protest that is mainly for their benefit, to be in the background agitating, it's like, do y'all understand how exhausting y'all are? We go to bat for y'all. We stand on the front lines for y'all. We put our lives on the line for you guys at every given turn. And even during that protest, you can't act right. And then even after the protest, we have to fear you guys on some level. We have to be cautious of you on like this internal level. And that's one thing that I realized being on Facebook and having this discussion brought up. Like, we are out here fighting for y'all. We treasure y'all and love y'all and respect y'all so much. And you can't even be bothered to not throw us in the trash, literally. And they were laughing in this video, I'm sure, because that's what you always do. And it's just like, my God, a Black woman gave birth to you. And you can't even have the common decency to treat us like with the most minimum disrespect, like just the most minimum respect. You come at us sideways all the time and y'all dog us out all the time, and we are still in this fight for y'all. I honestly, sometimes I sit around and I can't wrap my head around it. And I think on some level, that is why I decided not to have children, because this is not the world that I would want to bring a daughter into. This is not a world that I would want to raise a son into. I couldn't. I genuinely don't think I could. I would not want this life for my daughter, to teach her how to love and how to be on guard. Y'all, it is exhausting. I am so tired. I am mentally exhausted. And to know that we are nowhere near done. Like, generally what I think as far as this movement, it's going to take at least 3 generations. So I'm not going to see it in my lifetime. I'm not going to see the end of systematic racism in my lifetime. I know this. And I'm still going to fight for it, because we don't want this to continue. We don't want this for the next generation. So regardless of how I feel personally about Black men, I will still stand in solidarity with y'all, because it's right. It's the right thing to do. And if there is no justice for all Black people, there's no peace for all Black people. Like, we have been at this for far too long. Now that everyone is starting to become more aware of the history, like the real, honest, nitty-gritty history, not the history that we had to sit through in high school and middle school and elementary school, not that history, like the actual history of racism within what is now called America. Now that more people are being woke or their minds have been brought to the forefront of that, we cannot slow down. Too many people are finally becoming aware and saying, hey, this is not right, and this is why. I am literally in South Korea where they're holding protests, and I hear them talking in Korean about systematic racism and why it's not right. And not only that, but then they talk about it in a way and they bring it to other Korean people to finally address the issues that they have within their own countries. I can't even describe how amazing that is. So, like, people have always had their eye on America. It's like this young little country, and everybody wants to see what's going to happen. And people in some other countries model their society off of what is happening in the States. And so when you have something as big and as impactful as Black Lives Matter movement, like those little things with Black men, and you know what? I can't scratch that. It's not a little thing. But when you have issues with Black men and their toxic behaviors and the way that they still continue to treat women amidst a movement such as this one, What does that say to other countries? What does that say to other nationalities, that it's okay for them to treat Black women this way? And it's not. It's okay to rely on Black women to always be progressive and at the forefront for social justice and still treat them like garbage. It's not. And so I say that again to say this: Black men, if you know in your heart that you can't stand in solidarity with all Black women, sit this one out. Sit this out, and we will come back to you when we finally have broke through. Like, we can't have this out in these streets right now because people are watching. They're always watching us. And as Black people, y'all know this. Y'all know someone is always watching us. And for y'all to behave this way, for what? For what? That is why I don't understand. For what? Like, do you have that much pent up energy, that much pent up anger in your heart from the life that you have lived, that you feel that you can only release it by treating us this way? What happened to that young activist? I can't pronounce her name. I think her nickname is Toyin. I'm not sure. But what happened to her? What happened to Victoria? What happened to Remy? Like, this should not still be happening. What happened to Tony? Like, this should not still be happening to Black people. And y'all are just giving them another reason to say, well, what about Black on Black crime? Like, y'all are still giving them a reason to say that with their full chest and be able to sit in that when you behave this way. And it's just like, there's always someone watching you. Why would, and they record, and I'm back to the video, like, they felt so cool to post that on their social media. And I think one of them came out with some weak sauce apology. No, we are done with the apologies. We are done with the poetry. We are done with the 3-minute, 30-second songs about how you love Black women. Show us. Show us. Stand with us. Take accountability for your actions and begin to work on them. Start to change. No one wants to hear your flowery words anymore. We want to see defining action. Like, if you cannot back up what you want to say and show us, put in the real work. Put in the work that we do. That's what I want from Black men. And that's it. That's what I want. And I know I'm over it. Look, I wasn't supposed to be talking this long, but that's what I really wanted to say. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap this up because I can feel myself getting upset again. But as far as the Black Lives Matter movement as a whole, I'm overwhelmed at the amount of love and support that we are receiving. And I know that social medias aren't really trending Black Lives Matter as much as they did before. That does not mean that it is still not happening. It is. So please, allies, please continue to do your research, to educate yourself, to donate when you can. Have those uncomfortable conversations with your family. Trust me, I'm in South Korea. I know, like, I've seen firsthand, people don't want to be uncomfortable. But you have to become comfortable with the idea that justice, having that, will become uncomfortable. You have to start having those conversations. And so far, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, it gives me hope. And that's not something that I allowed myself to have for a very long time when it came to Black women and being treated fairly and Black women lives mattering in general. So for me to feel that far away from home and to see the people that I call friends, those that have been closest to me, being these amazing allies, like, it's a beautiful thing to see. So in the midst of this hurricane with how some Black men are behaving, I get it. It's not all Black men, but you know what? You have to start holding your friends accountable. That's really bottom line. Black men, those of you that are watching this and saying, well, damn, she dogging us out, cuz like, how can she do that? I'm doing it because you don't check your friends. So for you Black men that happen to come across this video and you feel some way in your spirit, don't ask yourself, why is she saying this? Ask yourself, well, why is my homie like this? Like, y'all have friends in your inner circles that need to be checked. And no one has checked them, which is why they are running around making videos of them degrading us. So I'm gonna need y'all to do that. Like, now. Don't come in my comments saying, oh, well, now Black men do this, or don't try to make the victim the villain in my comments. I'm telling you now, don't do it. Yeah, I'm going to end on that, because if I don't, this will end up being a 40-minute rant. But yeah, I am loving seeing the support that Black Lives Matters is getting globally. It's beautiful. We need to keep this going. You guys, we have been protesting for a few weeks, and there have already been changes made. And yes, there have been a few cringe moments from celebrities and politicians alike, but we are going to get the change that we want. We just have to continue this fight. It is not over. So thank you so much. Hey, Alicia, I'm glad you made it, but I'm wrapping this up because I'm already over I was supposed to be here for 15 minutes. So, but it's good to see you, girl. IG me or DM me. What, I don't know what the kids are saying, y'all. I'm old. I don't know. But anywho, if you've made it to the end of this video, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for listening, and thank you for, I don't know, just thank you for checking out my channel. I promise you guys, I have a video in the works now. I was actually supposed to edit that today, but I had to get this off my chest. I have a video update about talk. I have a video up about where I'm going to go next. And for many of you guys, if you don't know, I will be headed to Poland. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing a series about that, but I don't know for sure. So we'll see what happens. But either way, I promise I will be back on here next week with some fresh, new, hot positivity for all of you guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Be inspired, stay inspiring, and I will see you in my next video. Remember, Black Lives Matter.